very sure to say hello for him and all the team to his mother, who's in hospital up in Trail, British Columbia. So hello, Mom.
Tough time out of bounds, a little confusion as to which way the ball is going. They come up with UVIC basketball, and that's the way the game goes. So when you're hot, you're hot. You know, things are going their way, they get all the break.
That pass was supposed to be for Billy Luce, who couldn't get loose, but he did get the ball. And there's Dolcetti. He is very smooth. He uses all of his height very effectively. For 33, he came here to play with Ken Shields, who had coached him, of course, before.
At Laurentian University, yes. Rennie has worked out with our national team. He's a very aggressive, tough young man.
That's Alderman, who's the top man for UBC. His 10th point there. Look at Luce with that rebound. And he's deadly when he gets that ball in.
Well, we showed that on that highlights, him getting that rebound. He got fouled the time on the highlights, but right now he just really went up and stuck it in there. It's just a tough player.
The only guy really doing anything, Mark Adelman, a 19-year-old from Vancouver. 6 feet 7 inches tall, has nowhere near his full body weight yet. Still trying to shake Dolcetti loose again underneath that hoop. Yaremko is watching him in there. Have a look at that clock. It says 10 seconds. UBC rebound.
UBC can't give up any second shots if they're going to get back in the ball game. They've got to give UVIC one shot, and then UBC's got to get the rebound.
Nice screen there by Jolly. Luce was taken down. There's the hoop. And follow up with Ian Hidlay.
Good teamwork, good passing, found the open man, hit the open man, put the ball up ahead. That double up we saw earlier just didn't, timing wasn't as good this time.
Doug Mosher is number 3, putting the ball underneath to Adelman. Mosher's shot went right over the top of the basket, but the rebound hauled in by Cholik. The big Yaremko, he can't shoot. And the rebound is Chris Hebb of the Vikings, who are leading 52-28. Dolcetti rebounding. Allowed to get 2 shots there.
He took one of them dead from behind the backboard. That makes a lot of sense. But when you're up 22 and 24, you're loose. And he's not going to get much heat from Coach Ken Shields on that, as long as he's hustling and getting them the rebounds. Billy Luce would like to shoot on that foul, but the referee said no, and you had your feet on the ground.
That was Chris Hebb once more. Prince Rupert lad has played a good, solid game tonight. He's in his 3rd year with the Vikings.
Prince Rupert is a big sports town. John Olson, the technical coordinator out here in British Columbia, is doing such an excellent job. I'm up there next week, I guess, with Mrs. Iona Campanello, our Minister of Sport.
That, of course, is her home riding.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to being up there. We're at the Native Games, the Native Festival.
You'll have some great food up there. I was up there the first Indian Games. Jack had a wonderful time. You'll get some great Indian food, but take your raincoat.
Is that right? I don't need any food, I don't think. I can afford to miss a few of them.
Underneath to Hebb, who muscled his way to the shot. The rebound is out to Rob Paris again. He's only 5'8", this fella. He's a Victoria chap.
Well, there've been a lot of great players here from Victoria. Oh, when you think of, to me, I always think of the Chapman brothers, Bob Osborne, Norm Baker, Dougie Peake. People have played on that great 1936 team, won a silver medal for Canada.
Of course, Norm Baker was the Canadian basketball player of the first half century. One of the great natural shooters in the history of this game. And then Porky Andrews, who was for so many years with the Dominoes, and coached and played with Al Burney, athletic director over at Victoria High School. I think was the first British Columbia boy ever to go to the United States on a basketball scholarship. He went to Oregon before the war.
I know, and not only that, Doug Baker, what I remember about Doug is he played against the Globetrotters, which I thought was tremendous. I remember hearing about that when I was a kid. We've got a huddle here, which is not an unusual thing. We do it with the national team. A lot of teams are beginning to do it. In that huddle, they might change defenses. They might talk about the next play down the court. But it gives them the opportunity to get together. Sometimes just a matter of camaraderie.
This is Adelman, and boy, he has done everything he can. We'll get his point total for you and see what Adelman's got for the Birds. He's by far their top man. He's got 14 points in the ball game now. It's 54-30, still a 24-point lead. And again, it's a 26-point lead.
They've got to shut him down. Bob Parrish, they've got to shut him down if they expect to get back in the ball game. And again, maybe it's that coach's optimism all the time, but there is a chance to get back in the game. But as the clock runs down, it is less and less chance.
That's Dolcetti again, knocking that ball away.
Well, that's Ken Shields is up, bouncing around. That's the most enthusiasm Ken had. Obviously, I tried to catch his eye earlier, tell him smile a little bit for crying out loud. He's up by 25, but they want Dolcetti to really get at it. They've got themselves in this little zone with a little bit of trapping going after the ball. Notice them diving on that weak side, looking for the ball, trying to get the game moving faster.
We've now played 6 minutes of this second half. It's a 56-30 lead. The Victoria UBC with the ball. Long one-hander by Chris Crumpy. No good.
There they go.
Those speedy Vikings again. Luce can shoot any way at all. Rebound, good rebound by Chris Hebb. Good play.
Good idea of a fast break and then the aggressive follow-up. That's the story of the game, really, Ted. That's what we've seen the whole first half, and now we're seeing it again.
Doug Mosher going right to the corner himself. Hidlay all over him, and Hidlay took the ball away from him.
Good double up.
And here's Luce. Well, Bob Cholick did about the only thing he could possibly do, I guess.
Took a shot at the ball. I didn't hear the whistle very loudly, but the referee did signal good basket. And again, it was a defensive player up there around that rim.
So, there are 13 minutes and 20 seconds left in this basketball game, and Victoria is leading UBC 60-30.
Ladies and gentlemen, do you realize there is a sale of magnificent Scandinavian furniture now underway in Toronto? The Other Place, with 3 locations to serve you well, are offering their entire selection of Scandinavian furniture at savings of up to 50%, and fortunately no more, because they are calling their sale the up to half off sale. The Other Place, 31 Railside Road in Don Mills, 700 Dundas Street east of Mississauga, 3 Arrow Road in Weston.
London Inn, clear with Beirut on 1. Caroline 2, Peking Line 3, holding. Montreal on 1P East, Ottawa 1F4. Ottawa, you're clear. Your queue's at 090724.
Whether it's the desert wars of Africa's Ogaden or the high Canadian Arctic, Sunday morning puts you in the front line. Wake up every Sunday to definitive, dramatic radio. On Sunday morning, join The World, Frontline.
On Radio 740, CBC, Toronto.
One of the interested spectators at this game is Norm Gloag, the past president of the CABA. And Norm, more than just the game, brought you over from the mainland, I understand.
Yes, well, I'm a director also on the British Columbia Amateur Basketball. We're getting into playoff time now, so we're having a meeting over here on Saturday today for lay the plans for the playoffs.
I don't know whether most of the people across the country are aware of this or not, but you're responsible for bringing Jack Donohue's basketball talents and humor from the United States to Canada.
Yes, I was fortunate to be president at the time that we hired Jack. And when it got down to the last 3, we met with Jack in Toronto, and we're very happy from that day on. He's been a great asset to the basketball in Canada and to our Canadian amateur national team program.
We can tell him. He's done a good job.
Yeah.
Okay, Ted and Jack, back to you.
Okay, thanks. You did exactly what you told him to say, Jack. Good old Norm Bloke. He came through again.
I think, no, here we have full court press coming in here. This looks like going to cause trouble. They handle it very well.
Doug Mosher with the steal there.
I didn't think Norm would take the blame for bringing me into Canada.
Brave man.
Yes, that's right.
That was the Billy Luce check there, shaking his head. He's such an intense basketball player. Hates to make any kind of a slightest little miscue. This is the big fella, Adam Urenko. He hasn't been able to get any points at all in this game.
They've handled his zone a bit. Got the outside shot and got it up. Looked good. They've got flashes of showing, you know, the work that they have put in, and obviously, you know, the coaches put in with them.
Viking with that ball again. Beautiful one-hander. Chris Hebb. Prince Rupert's contribution to this team, and he's played a really good game for them. 62-32.
Good pressure. Pressure's throwing the timing off UBC. They're not getting the chance to make the moves they want to do. Here's another loose ball.
Uremko actually got his hand on that. I think more of an accident. Here's Uremko underneath, using that height and potting one.
Bill Luce came in again and helped out from the weak side. A very good defensive play, but and he looked for the charge, but the referee didn't give it to him.
Uremko now has 6 points in the game. Here's Luce. In and out. Rebound was by Chris Trumpy. Trumpy is being a little more of an influence in this half than he was in the first half. Very busy Doug Mosher. Trumpy once more. Number 20 is Cholik.
Try and get that ball inside again, and it's, unless they're going to hit a phenomenal percentage from the outside, the ball must go inside for them to get into the game. Cause some fouls, stop the game, try and score points with the clock not running. Peter Mullen's going to have to make a decision in a little while, too. We've got a foul. But he's got to decide whether or not to come out and press them and push the game along. If he does that, it could become a real rout, or he might get back in the ball game. Depends. He's got a game again. You know, they've got games coming up. And so he's got to make the decision that all of us have to make as coaches.
Vikings conquers is that sign. The place abounds in them. They're all over. We eat Thunderbirds. Say the Vikings, who have put in quite a few substitutions. There's one of them, Lorne Dakin, the 6'5" delegate from Terrace, and he potted that one to make it 64-34. Got pretty well all the starters out now, the Vikings have. Number 10, Craig Higgins, is back in there. They've also got Mickey Welder from Kelowna, BC, in there now. This is Uremko, bad pass. Number 22 for the Birds is for the Vikings, Ted Anderson, and it's a 32-point lead.
Really, they've really taken it right out. It's a complete blowout right now, and it's a matter now of both teams trying to get in as much as they can for the future.
There's Uremko. He now has 8 points in the game. And we have a 30-point game once more. 22 on this side is Ted Anderson. He's from Port Alberni. Had some great basketball teams from that West Coast town through the years. That was Anderson putting that up to 68 points. There have been very, very few foul shots taken in this game. Well, it's been really so lopsided.
That's right. There's no real need for it. There hasn't been that much tough play near the basket. Of course, as soon as we said that, they had a foul, and it looks as if we're in a bonus situation. We're going to get a foul. No, we're not in a bonus situation. They're taking the ball out of bounds.
No, but still not going to get a foul shot.
Nope, that's right. So they didn't jinx us.
Top man is number 21, Mark Adelman for UBC. That is the top man in points in this game.
We're in that UVIC zone against the out of bounds again. It protects them close to the basket for the out of bounds play itself.
The cross-court pass worked that time, Jack, to Adelman.
They've taken good advantage of it. They played pretty well against that zone, but they don't see enough of it, is really the...
We have 9 minutes and 36 seconds left. Foul called.
Warren Dakin took the ball, number 42 in the white, took the ball really strong to the basket. He did a very hard move to the basket.
Foul there is called against Yaremko, who was checking on Brian Sutherland Brown.
Ball inside. Foul, Yaremko just grabs him. That's assault and battery charge. I think we can get on Yaremko on that play.
This is Brian Sutherland Brown. He's 6'5". He's from Victoria, and he played some basketball down in Australia.
We got more players out here with 3 names.
Find a lot of those on Vancouver Island.
Yeah, right. I know a lot of guys who had to change their names because of the way they played, but didn't see them add another one to it.
Brian Sutherland Brown makes it 70-38 for the Vikings of Victoria. Charlick underneath to Adelman, who decides to pass it back again, and Charlick hits. Now 40 points for UBC. They're down by 30. Anderson almost threw that ball right through Sutherland Brown. He couldn't handle it. UBC's ball.
One of the few turnovers that UVIC has had. They played a pretty solid basketball game out here. And sometimes it doesn't look it because of the score. You know, it looks as if the game is sloppy, but UVIC has handled themselves very well, and I'm sure that Kenny Shields really pleased with the performance tonight.
They're continuing to check very, very tough underneath that basket of theirs.
Well, they worked out. They forced a rush shot, but it went in off the backboard. I'm pretty sure that young gentleman will take it, even if it is a little bit lucky.
Well, he has 18 points. He's almost a one-man gang. But right back come the Vikings once more.
Ted Anderson. Excellent shot.
Yes, the call there was against the player in white, Mickey Welder, and the UBC player made very sure if you fall over convincingly enough, generally speaking, you'll get the call to go your way.
You haven't seen some of the Academy Awards I have, Ted. Oh, I'm sure you have. Just saw them from a different angle.
Okay, we have a timeout here with the score 72-42. Join us later tonight as the Vancouver Canucks, struggling along, meet the Montreal Canadiens. First overall on Hockey Night in Canada tonight from the Forum in Montreal. Tony Gabriel defends his title against 21 challengers on Canadian Superstars tomorrow afternoon on most of these CBC stations.
You know, you mentioned a hockey game and then seeing Norm Gloag here at the ball game. I remember I got an idea of where basketball fit into the Canadian scene in 1972. We had lost the ball game. Here's Norm, the president of the Canadian Basketball Association. As we walk off the court after an embarrassing loss, puts his arm around me in a very fatherly manner. Says, Jack, listen, he said, it's not your fault. The kids just couldn't put the old puck in the net. And I just realized where we were. I hope we've come a little bit since then, but it was a shock.
And the look there at Ken Shields, he reminds me of Bud Grant. Although we finally got a smile out of him, but 30 points up, and he was looking terribly
That's
serious.
Right. I thought he had some stomach problem, for crying out loud, huh? We got to talk to Ken. Now is the time when you're up 30 in 8 minutes is to do a lot of coaching. Because I don't think there's anything you could do to mess it up here.
And on the other side, there's Peter, just wondering what hit him.
Well, I tell you, I think Peter handled it well that one timeout we got into. He didn't say much of anything. And that really, I think, was what had to be said at that time. I had one, Phil, because whenever I come out here, Billy Robinson becomes an important part of my life. And we're playing down in New York against Fordham University. Had a timeout that I didn't want. And Billy got annoyed at me because I didn't talk during the timeout. And I told him that if he wanted to talk, he should go down to the other team's timeout. You know, the guy who calls him should have something to say.
Craig Higgins hit that one, 74 points for Victoria. Substituting freely now. Both teams are. UBC's got Frank Janowitz back in there. And they put the ball up. It doesn't go in the hoop. The Vikings, almost everything they put up seems to go in. Here's Sutherland Brown, but he had the ball knocked off his hand, and the Birds get a turnover. They're down 74 to 42. Looking for their 10th victory in 11 starts. A 9-1 record coming into this game. Yaremko couldn't find the handle underneath there. And that's the easy type for Lorne Dakin. 34-point lead.
He went at that. That's the game. That got Peter up to straighten out his shorts, I think. Peter Mullins on the other side, but I think he's a little annoyed about that last play. Didn't want to give away any of this.
They're hitting everything. That was Mickey Welder from the corner. Vikings can get up there and throw the ball up in the air with their eyes closed. Most of them will go in this stage of the game, but that's the way it goes.
You know, when you get in a game like this, the UVIC, it looks as if they're throwing a ball into sewers, you know, and down the other end there's UBC, and they wonder if there's a glass lid on the thing.
Higgins bringing the ball up court. Foul there, I think, would be on Chris Trumpy. Little slap there on the old wrist. Called that one.
Yeah, that's right. got a good call. We'll get you out there. I think they want 3-man refereeing crews now. They're bringing that in, Ted. I know you've never made a mistake from over here.
No.
We'll see how you do out there with that whistle, huh?
Well, when you can hear the slap down, it's a pretty good guess, I guess.
That's right. What's the thing that we use that yell at a lot from the bench? It sounds like a foul when you hear it. We see a little more work here now by UVic. Again, as you say, they've got substitutes in there. They're out there trying to show Ken Shields why they should be starting ahead of the rest of them. Ken now looking up at that clock. I can't believe that we just had a picture of Ken Shields there. He doesn't have that grin on him yet.
Big Urenko's been left in most of the time. That's Trumpy again. Great shooter.
I think Peter Mullins has got to leave Yaremko in. He's got to develop. He looks as if he's a raw, talented young man, and he's got to work on his moves, and they've got to work on getting him the ball a little more.
In and out at UBC rebounds. Trumpy now has 9 points in the game. That's Yaremko, the big guy we were talking about. Few bodies bouncing off him.
They bounce off him. That's right. He doesn't, when he talks, people listen. I'm sure of that.
More substitutions. 3 are coming off the Viking bench. Their starters are coming back in again. Billy Lewis, Chris Head, and Rennie Dolcetti is coming back in too.
Confusion. It looks like they're playing line in hockey. People coming in and out of there.
30-point lead for the Vikings over the Thunderbirds with 5 minutes, 3 seconds left. Ted Anderson is going to the foul line.
A voice up in the stands behind us, let's really rub it in a little bit more. Well, I don't know how much more you can rub it in right at this point. But again, you know, as we both know, Peter's been there before. The thing I try and remind the players, remember what today a proud peacock and tomorrow a feather duster. Peter's on the downside now, but we know he's going to come back. And his kids work hard. They're still right there plugging away at it, which is the most important thing if you're not in the ballgame, is to get the work on staying in there and fighting hard the whole time.
Trying to pass off, the ball gobbled up by Billy Luce. As the starters, most of them are back in for the Vikings. Luce going for that ball. With Dolcetti, they're a great pair in there when they get working. Time clock says 10 seconds before they must put the ball up. Now 7. And a steal here. Findlay goes the distance. Brad Findlay from New Westminster, British Columbia. Got that one. The score is 80-50.
Again, working. They try to catch loose in the pivot then. It just got a bad angle on it. Official, defensive player must have tipped it. You know, whenever you mention loose from Connecticut, I was supposed to speak up in Connecticut Monday night at the Hartford Civic Center. I didn't because I wasn't feeling that well. And on Tuesday night, the roof caved in on it. And that's really bringing down the house. Is that? I think that makes up to some of the bad ones that you've had. But that's a good move by Dalsetti in there.
Oh, Dalsetti right up over the top of Yaremko. Of course, he is the veteran, the experienced basketball player. Yaremko just starting his college basketball career. And there you can see the difference between the two.
That's right. Yaremko got himself a little lesson in there of position.
Bob Chollick giving it back out here to Janowitz.
Got timeout. Both coaches, I think, have got things to say right about this time. Ted, Kent Shields is just going to try and keep the game going.
Okay, and we'll be back with the score 82-50 for the Vikings after we take this pause.
A little bit to the left, Sam.
Okay, I got the trouble. It's right here in the pilot bearing.
That's the brake shaft.
It is?
I think we better use the manual.
I could use a beer.
Come on,
For years
guys, who's
now,
got it?
Sam and the guys have been trying to get old Betsy
No, I
back
put it
on the
down
road.
here.
What's the matter, Sam? You lose something?
So far, the only thing that's gone right is their
Put a beer
beer.
down there. Now, who's got it?
Molson Export Ale keeps on tasting great.
Give me back my beer, huh?
A CBC special, The Dream Speaker. Claude Jutra's powerful story of an emotionally disturbed young boy's escape to the forest and the help he received from a magical Indian shaman. A Dream Speaker.
A new boy. It's a spirit that sets fires. And you love to hang around with kids.
Watch The Dream Speaker, a CBC special, Wednesday night at 8:30.
Well, somehow I'll try to be heard, Penny Rollins, over the theme music from Rocky that is playing in the background. But behind me is a sign in which the University of Victoria is challenging Waterloo to a jogging competition. Penny, you're coordinator of the intramural and recreational program here in Victoria. What's it all about?
Actually, it's the other way around. University of Waterloo has dared to challenge Victoria
I see.
to see who can field the most number of joggers. It'll take place over a period of 8 weeks. Each jogger must declare that they will run 3 miles a week for the 8 weeks.
Well, you've got an edge. What about weather?
I did hear it was minus 15 in Kitchener. However, they're a pretty determined lot in the east, and we're out to see that we can beat them. We hope that we can get at least 10% of our campus out running.
Okay, well, we're going to be in Waterloo next week for the game between Waterloo and Guelph, so perhaps they'll have some response to that challenge. Okay, Ted, back to you.
Well, I've entered you and Donahue to do the running. NHL All-Star Game next Tuesday, January 24th from Buffalo. Well, they're celebrating all sorts of things here, tonight's game. And 1978 is the 75th year of higher education in Victoria, which began with only 7 students in an offshoot of McGill at Victoria College in 1903. It's the 15th anniversary of the UVIC establishment as an autonomous degree-granting institution. Play underway again. Dalsetti. Look at, there were 3 Vikings there for that rebound.
Well, that's a nice-looking thing. 3 white shirts getting up there. By the way, I was into jogging for a while, and I found out jogging doesn't help you lose weight. Skipping does. Skipping breakfast, skipping lunch, skipping dinner.
Who did he call? I think he called Heb.
One referee had a jump ball. The other referee overruled him, had to foul earlier. The foul always takes precedent. A more serious penalty always takes precedent.
It was Chris Heb. Score is 82-50, less than 3 minutes left. The Birds would probably be just as happy to have that final whistle go and get out of here.
Well, both teams would, I think. Neither team wants to be around much more now. Ken Shields wants to get out and celebrate. Peter Mullins wants to get out and regroup his team. Billy loose on that one. Again, came up, got good position for a pivot play, actually. And Chris Trumpy gave him a smack from behind as they came up the lane. Referee caught them.
Two very fine basketball players. Luce going after his 20th point in the game right here. That's it. He's got 20. UBC has just put in another substitution. Mark Olson, 6'4" Victoria lad, only 19 years of age, has come in.
I think we better get Billy loose with all that good shooting. We got to get him into that basketon, I think.
Yes, that was Bob Cholick.
Foul shots have not been an important factor in this ball game, but they are more and more becoming a very important part of the game of basketball.
That call there was against Luce. He stepped over the line as he drove in, going through underneath.
He doesn't make many mistakes, I tell you. I think you'd take a few steps out of bounds for that shooting, and he did a great job of defense early in the ball game when Trumpy could have controlled the game a little bit.
"12 seconds left. That one went in. 83-54 is the score for the Vikings. We have 1:38 left now. More substitutions as Kenny Shields sends number 10, Craig Higgins, into the ball game, and number 11, Ian Hyde-Lay, comes back in. Loose out to Hyde-Lay. Rob Paris has played so very well for the Vikings.
Timing, looking for their shot. They've got the ball in a little bit of trouble there on the foul line.
Here's Luce. Faked the pass to Paris. That didn't go in.
What is it, hesitation? You just can't hesitate.
That foul was on Billy Luce. And Luce is going to finish the game sitting on the bench, being congratulated over there by his coach. And he has played a very, very good basketball game in this overwhelming UVIC victory here. Hyde-Lay's one-hander was in and out. UBC getting the rebound. We would certainly like to thank some people who have been a great help to us here. Dave Titterton, Roy Parks, and of course Coach Ken Shields as well. They've extended every courtesy to us. And the University President, Dr. Howard Petch, who incidentally is here along with Chancellor Dr. Bob Wallace watching this game tonight, and British Columbia's Minister of Recreation and Conservation, the Honorable Sam Ball, who took part in an official tip-off before the game got underway.
Ted, I think there were 2 or 3 people that you didn't introduce right there up in the stands. I'd like to mention them. Angie Dolby from the Nine-Hole, Patty Tatum, members of our national basketball team. And here we are again, noticing that the importance that positioning means in the game. And once the player gets inside, there's really very little the defensive player can do about it.
Well, very probably the Vikings are even going to get the last shot in the game. There's a foul shot, now 22 seconds left. And Mr. Parrish should be able to organize things here so that his team hangs on until the very last shot. Not that that is in any way vital. Deciding to put the ball up was Higgins, and he drew the foul.
did a good job. I think Ted, I think what Ken Shields worried about, there are going to be games where that last shot is going to be important. These are some young players. There's a possibility they could be in it. If they can learn how to do it here where there really is no great amount of pressure on them, it's a lot better for them to learn it here than in the actual situation where it could cost them a game.
So now, all things being equal, UBC should get the last shot. We have 11 seconds left. No, they're not even going to get that. As high lay intercepts. Goes in for the layup. That missed. And the call with 3 seconds left came under the basket. So when things are going sour, they continue to go sour. Foul against UBC, so high lay is going to probably, he's going to have the last go at the basket here. Probably will make it 85. He does that, it's 85. If he hits this, it'll be 30 points.
Is that right? Oh, geez, he's really...
30-point lead, victory, 86-56. And there it is, a 30-point victory for the University of Victoria Vikings over UBC, 86-56. Well, they certainly atoned for that one loss this season.
I'll tell you, they've really turned it around, and I guess if revenge was part of it, they've gotten their revenge. They handled it well. They did a good job. They controlled the game just about from the opening jump ball. It was close, I guess, until that opening jump ball, and UVIC just took right over.
Got a handshake there from the two coaches. Peter Mellon, he used to coach Ken Shields when Ken played at UBC, and of course both teams. And we're going to be back and meet the most valuable player in this game and perhaps a few other guests after we take this pause right now.
Let's get out of here. Oh, yeah. Come on. Hey, Louie, where are we going now?
To a place I know, where they'll fix it quick and right.
We're in a hurry.
You'll need a heavy-duty muffler.
Fine. This muffler's guaranteed.
If you're not happy, we'll replace it with just a service charge, as long as you own the car.
And that's a long, long time.
Channel 5.
June Colwood, one of Canada's leading journalists and social activists. Join June as she hosts CBC Toronto's popular In Touch, a program with a unique formula for blending public affairs and human interest stories. In Touch, weekday mornings at 9, plus Thursday nights at 10, on Toronto 5 television.
More and more people are canoeing on Canada's lakes and rivers. Many have had no water safety training at all. Before you go canoeing, learn some life-saving from the Royal Life-Saving Society at your community swim program.
Billy Luce was the outstanding player in this game, hitting for 20 points in that 86-56 victory. Billy, congratulations, but how do you account for the dramatic turnaround? You lost to UBC and lost that game, I think, by about 7 points. You won by 2 points. Now you beat them by 30.
Well, actually, UBC's home court is quite an advantage for them.
Does it make that much of a difference?
The particular gym, the floor is hollow, and the guards have a tough time dribbling, so it's a whole other atmosphere than our home gym, of course.
Well, of course, you've got a raucous crowd in this gym. They really support you here, led by Jim Hubbard, your Viking cheerleader. But tell me, I understand you came back after that loss in Vancouver and spent about 2 hours right here in the gym.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we spent a lot of time. We come back and, well, it's tough to be beaten when we expect a lot of ourselves. We expected to go undefeated until the final few games in the season where we're going to have our toughest games.
Another question. You're 10-1 in conference play, and yet the national rankings have you listed about 9th. How do you feel about those national rankings?
Well, the Western teams are kind of taken for granted every year because, well, it's just how they've done in the playoff in recent years. But I think our team and the Calgary team are almost in the top few teams in the country. We really are right there.
You transferred from St. Mary's to Victoria. What prompted the decision to move west?
Well, actually, we're looking for a place to stay on the West Coast because, well, me and my girlfriend, Carol Turney, who plays for the Vikings.
Ain't Love Grant. You followed her out here?
No, we decided together that we needed a change and go to a different school on the West Coast. It's a beautiful place, too.
It certainly is. We can't argue with that. Now, what about upcoming games? You've played Calgary, and you've got a series coming up with Calgary, haven't you?
Yeah, that's probably the most important series of the year. If we split with them, we have the playoff advantage, which means we play here in our home gym. Probably will mean everything in the playoffs.
Has this team been improving since the opening tournament of the year, that Pacific Rim tournament?
Our team? Oh, very definitely. Tonight we played as well as we played all season. We played very good pressure defense, and everybody's doing their part.
Well, Billy Luce, it was an impressive victory, a victory by 30 points, victory over UBC 86-56. We were most interested in watching you play. You had an outstanding game and continued success in the future.
Thank you very much.
The outstanding player in this game, and now let's go to Ted Reynolds with the coach of the UBC Thunderbirds, Dr. Peter Mullins.
Well, 16 years ago, when he started coaching over at UBC, Peter Mullins wouldn't have been this phlegmatic about a 30-point loss, but I suppose as one gets on, and you and I are approaching the age of 40 now, Peter, that things are taking a little calmer.
That's right. Another year and I'll be 40. On games like this, there isn't too much you can do. You just got to sit through them and just hope it gets over very quickly.
But first of all, let's talk positively, because after all, Ken is one of your graduates. British Columbia has got a very good basketball team in the Vikings. Were they better than you thought they'd be?
No. They've had some good personnel. They played extremely well tonight, and they certainly deserve their win. It's just a little, it's unfortunate we didn't play as well as we're capable of, but I thought that Victoria tonight played very well and played up to their capabilities. They have a very good basketball team.
Well, Jack, you were pretty kind all night. I'll tell you that, Peter. He wasn't too mean to you.
Well, good for him.
I was wondering when you went down 26 and you had to try him out, why you didn't tell him how to win the game. Right?
Well,
you told me that you were the guy that could win these games. I've been believing that for 5 years now. I know I never figured out how to do that.
Well, I forgot what page in the book it was on, and so I got in a little trouble there.
I'll tell you, Peter, you've been, we mentioned, you've been on top, and now you got your head kicked a little bit. You got games ahead of you.
Right.
I think, I mentioned it there, and I think you handle the timeout well. I think, most people watching probably expected to get in there and start yelling and screaming. The game was over. It was the ball not going in.
That's right. On nights when a ball just doesn't go in, you can't do anything. It's just one of those things. It happens. It's happened to us quite a lot this year. The big trouble is I don't understand why, because I really feel I have some good shooters out there. But however,
good shots. Got off good shots, I thought.
Well,
good selection.
This is the thing that's happening. We're just not putting the ball in the basket, and I'm not at all unhappy with our shot selection. I think our shot selection is very good. Like at the start of the game, we're getting all deep stuff, layups, and you can't get better shots than that, and we're just having our problems.
Jack was saying, Peter, that this big kid you've got, Adam Yaremko, he's got all the size in the world, 6'8", and he looks 6'10", and I guess he weighs 225 or something like that. He's very green, but you left him in there, and we gathered that this is a wonderful opportunity for him to learn things.
That's exactly why I left him in. He's going to be with us for another 3 years. He's lacking experience, and the more he plays, the better he's going to be. This is why I did the same thing with a forward, Mark Edelman, and have him for another 3 years. And I thought he did a pretty good job tonight for a rookie.
Edelman was shooting.
Yes, he was. He was the only one. I was quite pleased with both of them, and I'm just going to play them a lot this year. And the more experience they get, the better they're going to get. And I feel both of them are going to be quite good.
Yeah, Ted, make it very clear. I mean, in case that young man happens to watch the game, I didn't say anything bad about him. I mean, I don't want to mess with that guy and Muhammad Ali. I wouldn't say anything bad about any one of them.
No, that's why I'm a little quiet this year. You know, they're a little big out there, and I'm afraid of them, actually.
I tell you this, Canadian college basketball has got some terribly big people. You look at that team from Winnipeg, and they just scare you.
Oh, yeah, well, University of Manitoba, I think that's the biggest Canadian team I've ever seen. Well, it is. It's the biggest team I've ever seen. And they're very mobile. They're very good, too.
Well, the improvement in college basketball. I mean, I just seen the quality right across the country over, I'd say, 3 or 4 years, just been unbelievable to me. I've only been here, you know, for the 5 or 6 years. But I just think we have unbelievable basketball from coast to coast.
I agree with you. It has been getting better and better each year.
Well, I was watching your JV team out here, and both you and Victoria got a couple of 6'10" guys playing JV basketball now.
Yeah, that's one thing that's happening in Canadian basketball. They're getting more and more players that are bigger, and along with their size, they're quite mobile.
Now, you told me when we were talking a few days ago, Peter, that you're going to make some people sit up and take notice. This team of yours, if they came out and got a very good start, you've got enough green talent on there to beat people.
I think so. The thing we did today is we've been doing it all year. Like, we go out there and just can't put the ball in the basket. The next time we go on the floor, we shoot very well. So we've been very inconsistent is what the problem has been. And they're totally unpredictable. I never know what we're going to do next.
Peter, would you talk a little slower? Ted and I have a problem with your accent, you know, and we've got that mid-Canadian accent.
You talking about an accent from New York?
No, it's in Ottawa.
This is a bunch of nonsense because I'm the only one that doesn't have an accent. You come from the Bronx, is it? Where they don't even speak English?
Listen.
Peter is an Antipodean.
Oh my Lord! Don't bring up religion.
He's an old bullballer from Australia, is what he is. Okay, the UBC Thunderbirds coach Peter Mullins. Thanks very much for talking with us, Peter, after that big loss. And we're going to be back with more from here. But first, let's take this loss.
Sports on CBC. Whatever the season, whatever your sport, you can see it all here on CBC.
Hi, this is Brian McFarland for Hockey Night in Canada with a reminder that you've got an extra hockey night coming up. That's on Tuesday, when the NHL presents the 1978 All-Star Game from Buffalo. It's your opportunity to see the best NHL players in action in the same hockey game. Be sure to watch Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, when Hockey Night in Canada brings you the All-Star Game from Buffalo.
CBC Sunday at 7, we present the first of 5 new chapters of A Gift to Last based on Gordon Pinsent's award-winning special. Followed at 8, Larry King teaches Kathy the finer points of pool.
Anyone?
Yeah, anyone at all.
And at 8:30, Bob Hope hosts the Kraft 75th Anniversary Special. The entertainment starts at 7 with A Gift to Last, Sunday on CBC. On CBC Friday, it's Tommy Hunter Country with Al Cherney, Morris Bollier, Donna and Leroy, V.O.K. Corral, and all of Tommy's special guests on Tommy Hunter Country.
The caller hollered do-si-do, and they knew Uncle Pen was ready to go. Late in the evening, about sundown, high on the hill in the Bucktown, Uncle Pen played a fiddle on how it would ring. You could hear it talk, you could hear it sing.
Chris Trumpy, your Thunderbirds seem to start poorly and things just got progressively worse.
Well, we're a young team. When we get behind, we have a tendency to panic a little bit, and that's what happened tonight. We wanted to have a slow-tempo game, because we knew UVIC, if they got running, they'd blow us right off the court, and fortunately we let them start to run.
You won a 65-58 decision on home court, and you lost by 2 points, 64-62. Is home court advantage that much of a difference?
In the West, I think any team playing on their home court gains at least 20 points. It's a really tough league to win on the road in, and the team that usually wins on the road will win the league.
Well, the University of Victoria has to go on the road out to Alberta for a couple of games, don't they?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. You know, we're hoping that maybe Alberta will spring a surprise on them and upset them, but the way they're playing, it's going to be tough to beat them.
You mentioned that you do have a young team. It's a rebuilding team. You've been playing well, though, with a 5-5 record coming into this game.
We've been playing well at home. We've been really inconsistent on the road. Like today, we just came out and got our doors blown off. At home, that wouldn't happen to us. We're really having trouble winning on the road this year.
Are you still looking at a playoff spot?
We're hoping. You know, you never want to give up hope. If we can come back and take a couple of games next weekend, we've got Alberta at home next weekend, and we just hope for the best.
Chris Trumpy, thanks for chatting with us, and good luck over the balance of the season. Okay, now let's call in the coach of the victorious team, the team that leads the Canada West Conference, Ken Shields. Ken, congratulations. A rather impressive performance.
Thanks very much, Don. Yes, the fellows did a job.
You got off to that quick start. You got your game going, a running game. I think that's what you prefer to play, isn't it?
Yeah, we like to break, and we got to play defense to get to start the break. And the boys did it. I think that's our best defensive performance this year.
I threw the question at Billy Luce a little earlier. You fellas now are 10-1 in conference play, yet you're ranked number 9. How do you feel about that?
Our rankings are for the fans. You know, that's great, and you know, I don't care where we're ranked really. I mean, we're number 1 in the conference, and we're trying to stay there. And the rankings, like I say, they're great.
Ken, you started off the season with your tournament here, the Pacific Rim Tournament. You had an opportunity to see some of the competition from other conferences. How does this conference rate from what you've seen with the other conferences across the country?
I think the top teams in this conference and our conference will play with anybody. You know, maybe we don't have the overall power that that some of the Eastern conferences have, but the top 2 or 3 teams in our conference will play with anybody in the country.
Is it going to make a big difference, presuming that you do win and go on to the national championship, that long traveling period and the change in time? Is that going to affect the boys at all?
No, I don't really think so. I'm not even concerned about that. We got a long way to go before we think about national championships.
From the way things are going, finishing first and having home court advantage is going to be a big weapon.
Well, if we can finish first, you know, we'd certainly like to, but we're not counting on any nationals yet.
Are the fans in this building always this noisy?
We got great fans. We got a great Viking, and he does a job. And we've had great support from the city, the high schools, and our on-campus fans. Our fans are like this most games.
One of your big assets this year was the transfer of Billy Luce. I guess you weren't sorry to see him leave the East Coast and come out to the far West.
Well, he was a pleasant surprise. We got a phone call in the middle of the summer, and I didn't really know what kind of player he was, and I hadn't seen him play. I'd seen him play in the Nationals, but I didn't really, know that much about him, and he certainly is a pleasant surprise.
You know, a lot of people probably wonder, maybe it's an obvious answer that you're about to give me, but last year you were second. This year you're leading the conference. Is the team that much better?
Well, I think we have. Last year we played pretty good basketball. We didn't have as much physical talent as we have this year, but the kids that we had last year played just about up to their potential. This year, tonight, I think we're played close to our potential. That's the best game we've played this season, and hopefully we're peaking at the right time. We definitely have more talent this year than we had last year.
You want to be peaking in a few weeks' time when you travel out to Alberta?
Well, we certainly are going to do that. We like to go to Alberta. It's a good trip. We've had success in Alberta, and the kids are really looking forward to that trip.
Ken, it should be an interesting final few weeks of the season. Most impressive win tonight. Congratulations on the triumph. We'll look forward to seeing you in future weeks.
Thanks very much, Don.
Ken Shields, the coach of the University of Victoria Vikings. Now let's go for their final comments to Jack Donahue and Ted Reynolds. Well, Jack, when you first came up to start working with the national team, that's when I first met you, and you really didn't have a great moving truck full of talent. It was a tough job for you. I know it was, but Canada has progressed, and basketball's progressed with it. And I know you're licking your lips now when you see big 6'8" young Canadians who are only 19 years of age just beginning to learn their trade, eh?
Big difference, big difference. The improvement over college and high school basketball
in the last 5 years has been phenomenal to me. I've never seen anything like it. We've always had the players, I think. It's been a matter of the attitudes. Our kids now know that they can play basketball.
What will they be doing? What have you got to offer them for this year?
Well, we've got a tournament in April down in Buenos Aires, which came on us pretty quickly. We weren't really ready for that. Then what we'd like to do is spend a lot of time on fundamentals. We'd like to spend most of the month of June working on fundamentals, and even some of our better players have got some bad habits, and we want to work those out. Then what we'll be doing is, and end that up hopefully with some games, and then the next time we'll get together will be in preparation for the World Championship. We'll probably get together in September, early August or September, and the World Championship is held the 1st to the 10th of October in Manila in the Philippines.
Lovely time of year to be in Manila.
Is that right? Well, it's a lovely time to be in Victoria, I can tell you that.
Well, coming from where you just came from, anything's got to look pretty good, but we really have had great weather out here. Now you're going to be in Waterloo, you and Don, 1 week from now, and you'll be watching Mr. McRae's boys there perform.
That's right. We should see a good game. Waterloo, Guelph, it's, again, the downtown rivalry. You know, they're practically in the same town, really, and that should be a real good game. We've had some good games. Tonight was a 6-day war, but you know, other than that, the teams worked very hard.
Well, we're looking forward to a good one next weekend. And now for Jack and I, so long from Victoria, let's go back to Don Whitman.
All right, Ted, and the standings, of course, Victoria ahead of Calgary in Canada West, and first place could ultimately be decided when Victoria travels up to Calgary to take on the Dinosaurs. Alberta, UBC, Lethbridge, and Saskatchewan in that order in Canada West. The Quebec Conference, Bishops is still undefeated. McGill bounced back after last week's loss to Carleton. They're in second spot, then Concordia and Three Rivers. And in the Atlantic Conference, still 2 undefeated teams. Acadia, although they did lose Ted Upshaw, as we reported at halftime, and St. Francis Xavier, they have still to taste defeat. St. Mary's running along in third spot, UPI and Dalhousie, followed by New Brunswick and Mount Allison. Now moving over to the Great Plains Conference, it's Manitoba after that convincing victory over Regina last night. Still unbeaten. They look like the power in the country, and of course, Manitoba is ranked number 1. Then it's Lakehead, Winnipeg, Brandon, and Regina. Regina still looking for its first win. Ontario West, what a dogfight here. Waterloo, Laurier, McMaster, and Western all with 4 points. Windsor, Guelph, and Brock all with 2 points. They're just underway really in conference play, and it is anybody's race in Ontario West. Moving on to Ontario East, York is unbeaten, 5-0. Laurentian, with that victory last night over Carleton, is 4-1. Then it's Toronto, followed by Carleton, Queens, and Ryerson and Ottawa have still to win. So the national rankings, Manitoba is ranked number 1. Manitoba has been number 1 all season. Then it's Acadia, York, and Laurentian has moved up a notch from 5th. Laurier and St. Francis Xavier weren't ranked. They are now 5th and 6th. Then it's Windsor, St. Mary's, Victoria, and Calgary. The national rankings across the country, Manitoba the number 1 team. Next week, we'll be in Waterloo as we feature the game between Waterloo and Guelph. We invite you to join us then. Now for Jack Donahue and Ted Reynolds, I'm Don Whitman saying good afternoon from the University of Victoria.
In these quiet Rocky Mountain
Rubber ducky, you're the one. You make bath time.
It's fun to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, that's the song of the count. Grover is here too.
Over the horsey, under the bed, through my door.
And everyone's favorite, Abkadefki, Jekyll, Minotquer, Sue, and Sears.
The 25 greatest hits of Sesame Street is a delightful album, and it's educational too. $5.99 from K-Tel. Tape or cassette, $6.99.
Available at Wilco, Woolworths, Zellers, A&A Records, Treachers, Pay and Save, Sam the Record Man, McLeod's, and the Bay, Woodward, Sears, and Eaton's.
A CBC premiere. Based on Gordon Pinson's award-winning special, we present the first of 5 new chapters of A Gift to Last.
Keep my little rules. They'll be relying on you. You're the head.
Dear girl, have you any idea what you're talking about?
Oh, yes, I think I do.
But you won't have a house left. And haven't you considered Clement and Jane?
Oh, now they'll survive.
Well, you see if you get that chance again, Sergeant. What's that for? No, I will not. Not a bit of it. Besides, they're going to be thinking things in there, and don't you think they won't?
For everyone, Chapter 1 of A Gift to Last premieres Sunday, January the 22nd.
CBC, British Columbia.
Commander, we're getting a reading. Eagle 1 in orbit and holding.
20 seconds, visual contact.
We have link up with onboard computer.
15 seconds, visual contact.
Eagle 1 still holding.
Eagle 1 breaking orbit now.
Punch in long-range cameras.
Yes, sir. Vital signs normal.
Alpha to Eagle 1, do you copy? Alpha to Eagle 1, do you copy?
Keep trying, Paul.
Eagle 1, are you receiving me? I'm in Eagle 1.
Commander, preliminary results from onboard computer coming through NASA.